Am I recording? There we are. Hi there, guys. Technology drop-in Thursday. Today's April 1st. No joke there. And we're going to be looking at some stuff here. I've shared on the screen what we're going to talk about today. So for those of you that have been have or have not had the chance, we've actually got Microsoft doing training sessions for us on Monday mornings at 9 a.m. except for this coming up Monday. So what I've been doing is, as they've been doing the presentations and they have been sending me the video files, I've been uploading those into a folder that is in part of my technology drop-in SharePoint site, which we'll talk about some other time. But basically, I'm just taking files and I'm just uploading them directly into this folder here. So you can see this. Just ignore the SharePoint site. It's very similar to what you guys are using right now. So we have lists, we have Power Automate we've done, and we just finished Power BI. Power BI basically gives you graphs and charts and all sorts of pretty interfaces to whatever data you're using. So if you have an Excel spreadsheet, it does charts and stuff like that, a little bit nicer than the built-in charts. You can also grab data sources externally. So for example, the one that they used was they went to IMDb and said, here's the top 100 movies. Power BI was actually able to go in, grab that data, and then bring it into an interface where you now have access to the data, even though you can't edit it, but you have access to it. And then you can create all sorts of different filters and different views and search functions and all sorts of stuff. So if you haven't had a chance to play with any of this stuff, I recommend, just watch the videos. They're only an hour and you can speed them up if you want. Also, every one of these applications you do have available to you. So if you go into the app launcher here, you might have to go down to share more, but you can go into each of these different apps. And at the very bottom of the list, there's always a thing here about learning. So learn about Power BI and automate and stuff. But that's where I'm storing those ones as we get those in. I've also been attending a number of conferences online. And so what I've been doing is, as I've been going through to the conferences, I've been getting copies of the videos and I've been uploading them into this folder here. So one of the things I was just talking to Dave about that I learned about lists, the list application, which is we've talked about in the past, but when you upload files into SharePoint, it actually is using the list tool. So normally what would happen is when you would load a document up, you would see something that looks like this. So name, modified, maybe modified by who or whatever else. This is a list, right? It's like a spreadsheet, and I can add different columns. So I can go in and there's already a bunch of columns available in here. So content ID, content type, file size, whatever, and I can turn those on and off as I want. The other cool thing about using these lists is I can also create different views so that I know that, hey, you know what, everyone's going to want a chance to look at these things here. So here's all these different videos. Right now, I just have two conferences. I got another one to drop in yet. I've created this column called topics. So at any point in time, if I want, I can filter by just show me all the stuff that has to do with Microsoft Teams. And there is anything that involves Microsoft Teams. So this is what I was talking about before, where lists has a bunch of extra power. We can add all this stuff, these columns and extra data to files that we just uploaded, because that's all this is. It's not me doing files and then a spreadsheet. It's just me loading the files up, and that's all there is to it. So I can add different columns and stuff. I might even decide that, you know what, I want to do the conference list. But so right now, if I turn this filter off, take that off, thank you. It's just showing me everything is by alphabetical order. So you'll see there's the Turbo Tuesdays, there's Con 5, those are all separated. But maybe I want to put them all together. So I actually created a view here called Conference List Grouped. And there's the two conferences, and then I can just pull them open. And again, there should be an alphabetical order. So these views are something that I program, and it can make available to anybody. So lists within SharePoint sites are really, really powerful, and I'm finding more and more uses for them. Sorry, I got kind of off on a tangent. The whole purpose of this section was to let you know that there are these different videos. These ones are all about an hour long, and there's some really amazing ones that are in here. So everything from SharePoint to tips on how to use Teams and stuff. There's some really good materials. The ones I like is these Turbo Tuesdays. They were only 15 minutes long. there is some great stuff in there. There's one here on how to create a virtual agent. The guy's a little bit techie, but you know, the fact is, from watching this, we could we could create a virtual agent or robot, online robot, and then we could point to a source of data somewhere, and the virtual agent will be smart enough to figure out certain things on its own, so that you could actually have someone just, you know, ask that question and there's the automatic answer. So really cool stuff. If you get a chance, I really recommend you take a look through that, because there's some really neat stuff in there. It also gives you an idea to show what people are doing and stuff. We've just finished talking about the columns and stuff, so I don't need to review that again. However, one of the things I wanted to go on next about is Office replies can be set up in the Teams setting. So when I have Teams here, this is my Teams interface with the chat and all that there. If I go in the top right-hand corner up here, I'm going to go into settings. And one thing that they've added in here, you have to scroll down to find it, is a new out of office. So whether you do your out of office from Outlook, whether you do it from here, it doesn't really matter. It's all the same place. But you can go in here, turn on your automatic replies, your messages. What are the messages you're going to do for people outside of McEwen? What are the time frame? All the same stuff. And then it changes, of course, your status. But I hadn't seen that before, so I don't know if I just got slipped in there lately or what that is. So there's a nice little shortcut to have that there. So we talked about PowerPoint within our presentation before, and I'm going to bring up my window here, and I'm going to go in and, where is it here? Go into my sharing. Now, I'm going to do a different sharing. So I'm going to turn this sharing off so you don't see the whole screen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share an actual PowerPoint presentation. One of the nice things about doing it this way is, and you can't see it, we've talked about it in the past, I get a different interface. It's very similar to what PowerPoint does. So I actually, when I'm presenting on my screen, maybe I'll take a quick snapshot of it and I can share that with you later. There we go. But what I'm seeing is basically the slide, my show notes, or sort of my slide notes, and then I'm also seeing the next slides that are coming over, that kind of thing. What's interesting about this is you guys should be seeing my slide right now. Is that correct? Give me a thumbs up. You should be able to click on the word university. So what's kind of neat about it is that now I can actually have links here. I don't have to go in and put them in the chat. I can just say, hey, you know, here's my slide. If you want to find out more, click on the link there. And you on your side can go and click on the link. One of the other things that's nice too is that if you wanted, and you know, you've read this slide, you're bored with what I'm saying, you actually have the control to go in to the next slides. So you can zip ahead and go forward to all the different slides. Now I can actually go into the under my actions, you can't see it, and I think I can turn those off and say that no, you cannot go ahead. You have to stick with whatever slides I present. But I just find that this having the link there is really kind of a handy way of putting your data right on the screen rather than going and copy and paste it into a chat. Now, one of the things to keep in mind is this is great if I'm just talking and I'm just referring to my slides and that's it. But if I was to do another screen share, then I would have to stop screen sharing my PowerPoint. Then I have to re-screen share the web page that we were linking to. So there's kind of a balance, you know, does it work? Does it not work? It depends on what you're trying to do. So that's just, but I do like the fact that the links are there. If I was just doing a straight presentation, I wasn't trying to screen share anything else. I do like the fact that that gives you those links quite quickly. And I mean, the reality is you're going to be also building those into your slide deck, which you'll probably share out with people anyway. So it's kind of nice to have it all in one location. But I just thought that was kind of nice to point out. I'm going to stop sharing that content and then go back to my screen share. All right, so we're back there. I thought I saw a question. I'm just going to quickly check my chat here once I get it open. Come on, screen, open up. That's what I wanted, and what was posted. That's cool. Thank you. All right, cool. Cool functions are good. The last thing, oh, sorry. Download meeting attendees from the meeting attendees more. So what that means is after my meeting, I can go back or I can go on, it's here. I can go up into the show participants. And then if I click on the three dots here, I can download who came to my meeting. Now this will be, I haven't tried it with this particular meeting because this is a repeating meeting. So I'm be interested to see what kind of stats we get out of that. But I should be able to list and find out whoever's coming in. Normally, and we talked a bit about this last week, if I was to go through the calendar app here from Teams and find a meeting that I was in, all the assets would be in that meeting. So we talked about that, I think, last week, where the transcripts are in there, the copy of the video recording will be in there, and those things should also be in there. So because this is a repeating meeting, I'm not sure of how that will work, but let's take a quick look and see. Yeah, it's not showing me what I want. So yeah, it's because it's a repeating, that's not going to work. But for a standard meeting, it works fine. So that's kind of cool. Insert text from one file to another in Microsoft Word. Okay, so it's like a merge letter, where a merge letter you're using Excel to go and put in content. In this case, we're actually going to reference another Microsoft document. Now, this function is an old Microsoft desktop function. It's been around for years. And the whole idea is that if we had files stored somewhere on a local drive, or on my desktop or something like that, I could just have one person make one change here, and it's going to affect all the files that link to it. So just to demonstrate, I've got 3 documents here. These are some courses that are running. These are my own courses, so they don't do anything. But Human Resources 1, Human Resources 2, and both of those have a section in there called Standard Policy Information. Rather than me copying and pasting it through 100 of these different things, and sometimes getting the formatting right and wrong, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 2 documents, and within them, I'm going to link to the standard policy. And whatever's in this file will automatically appear in those other 2 documents. So let me just open them all up just to demonstrate. Oops, I better use a key. There we go. One of the challenges of using a Mac and then using a Windows machine through my Mac is my keyboard shortcuts don't always work. Okay, so here's Human Resources 1. Here is Human Resources 2. And where's that other document? Standard policy. And there's the standard policy. So here it says policy information, blah, 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 right? So let's go into Human Resources 1 here. So at the bottom of this piece here, right before the table samples, I'm going to go in here, and I want that data to show up in here. So I'm going to go to the Insert menu, and off to the right, you'll see Object. And you're going to grab the text from a file, which is what we want. Find the text of the file you're looking for. Whoops, no, I don't. It's going to be my desktop here. And I'll talk about this in a second. So there's that standard policy info, and I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to insert as a link. So there's that same data that was in the policy document. I'm going to do the same thing over here for Human Resources 2. Go in here, whoops, carriage return, insert object, text from file, desktop, and insert as link. So there it is there. Now, just to show you how this works, I'm going to save this. Go ahead, go away. I'm going to save this file here, and I'm going to close 101. So I'm not going to go in and change this title here, policy information for faculty. The link doesn't update automatically. First, I got to save here. That helps too. The link doesn't automatically update. I actually have to go up top here, just right click on this and update the field. But it's pulling in all that information in again, and you can see how it's been updated. I'll open up that heading or that 101 course. Same thing here. It doesn't update till I right click and update field. But once I've done that, I don't have to check to make sure that this text here is correct. As long as it's correct here, then it's going to be correct here because it's just pulling it in as a live link. So ideally, it'd be nice if it would update automatically or when you opened it, but it doesn't at the moment. But still, instead of going through, let's say at 100 of these courses, instead of my having to go in and copy paste, make sure formatting's right, make sure this works right, et cetera, I just have to go into those 100 documents, right click, and then say update and save it, and then we're done. So this is a real good time saver. I've seen it. I mean, it's been around for years. A lot of people just don't realize it's there, but it can save you a lot of time. It also allows you that, you can give edit access to a certain file, but not to other files. Now, the caveats that come with that. So far, in my experimentation, you cannot use this for in cloud storage. So this whole insert thing is looking for a specific path. And when I try and do it through a OneDrive or SharePoint, which I've tried here, it doesn't like it. So it's giving me error messages and stuff. So I'm going to keep on that. I'll let you guys know if I find a different story, because I think this is something that we use a lot that would be really cool if we could take advantage of it. However, worst comes to worst, though, if you have all these files stored on your computer or your desktop, or you download them, I'm hoping the links would still be the same. I could go in, make the changes, make the updates, and then re-upload them up to OneDrive or SharePoint and work with them there. So I'm working with an area. We're going to take a look at see how we can do this and streamline it. And as soon as I find out more, I'll let you guys know. But just being aware of this, I think a lot of you will be able to take advantage of that to really help save some time. That is all I have today. Any questions? Okay. I'm going to stop my screen share. I'm going to ask all of you to stay online because I had someone ask a question. I just wanted to test that as far as how I can see all the participants and stuff. So if you just hold on the line for a sec, but I'm not going to stop my recording, and then we can chat about whatever else you want to chat about.